On August 6, 1945, at exactly 8:15 in the morning, a single bomb changed human history forever. In less than 1 minute, an entire city was nearly erased. More than 70,000 people died instantly. By the end of the year, the death toll would rise to over 140,000. This was the first time a nuclear weapon had ever been used in war. The target was Hiroshima, Japan. But what really happened that day? Why did the United States drop the bomb? And what did survivors witness in the moments after the explosion? This is the true story of Hiroshima. By 1945, World War II had already become the deadliest conflict in human history. Germany had surrendered in May, but Japan was still fighting. The United States and its allies feared that invading Japan directly would cause millions of deaths on both sides. Japanese soldiers were known for refusing surrender, and many civilians were being trained to fight if invasion happened. At the same time, the United States had secretly been developing a terrifying new weapon known as the atomic bomb. The project was called the Manhattan Project. It involved more than 130,000 workers and scientists, including famous physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer. After years of research and nearly $2 billion in funding, the first successful nuclear test happened on July 16, 1945, in the New Mexico desert. The explosion was so powerful that witnesses thought the sun had exploded on Earth. Less than a month later, the weapon would be used against Japan.
Hiroshima was chosen for several reasons. It was an important military and industrial city with about 350,000 people living there. Unlike many other Japanese cities, Hiroshima had not been heavily bombed before. This meant American officials could clearly measure the damage caused by the atomic bomb. Another reason was geography. The city was surrounded by mountains, which scientists believed would intensify the blast. The bomb itself was nicknamed Little Boy. It was powered by uranium-235 and weighed around 4 tons. Only one bomb was loaded onto a B-29 bomber plane called Enola Gay, named after the pilot's mother. The mission began in the early hours of August 6th. Most people in Hiroshima had no idea what was coming.
At 8:15 a.m., the bomb was released from the Enola Gay. It exploded about 600 meters above the city. In a flash brighter than the sun, temperatures near the center of the explosion reached around 4,000 degrees Celsius. People close to the blast were instantly vaporized. Some left behind only shadows burned into walls and streets. The shock wave traveled faster than sound, crushing buildings across the city. Nearly 70% of Hiroshima's buildings were destroyed. Then came the firestorm. Massive fires spread everywhere, fueled by shattered homes and strong winds created by the explosion itself. Survivors described seeing people with burned skin hanging from their bodies as they wandered silently through the streets. Many begged for water. Many died where they stood. Black radioactive rain began falling from the sky shortly afterward. No one fully understood radiation at the time. Even people who survived the initial explosion soon became sick with mysterious symptoms: hair falling out, bleeding gums, fever, and extreme weakness. Thousands would die.
One of the most heartbreaking parts of Hiroshima is the survivor testimonies. A survivor named Keiko Ogura, who was only 8 years old at the time, later described seeing injured people whose skin looked melted. Another survivor, Sumiteru Taniguchi, suffered burns so severe that photographs of his injuries shocked the world. Many children lost their entire families in seconds. Schools disappeared. Hospitals collapsed. Doctors and nurses were killed instantly, leaving almost no medical help for survivors. Some people survived simply because they were behind a wall or inside a concrete building when the blast happened. Others survived with lifelong trauma. The Japanese word for atomic bomb survivors became hibakusha, meaning bomb-affected people.
For decades, many hibakusha faced discrimination because people feared radiation sickness was contagious. Yet many survivors dedicated their lives to speaking about peace and warning the world about nuclear war.
3 days after Hiroshima, the United States dropped a second atomic bomb on Nagasaki. On August 15, 1945, Japan officially surrendered. World War II was over. But the debate over the bombings never ended. Some argue the bombs prevented an invasion that could have killed millions. Others believe Japan was already close to surrender and that the attacks were unnecessary. Historians still debate the decision today. What is certain is this: Hiroshima changed the world forever. Humanity had entered the nuclear age. Countries soon began building even more powerful nuclear weapons during the Cold War. Today, nuclear bombs are thousands of times stronger than the one dropped on Hiroshima, and the fear of nuclear war still exists.
Today, Hiroshima has been rebuilt into a modern city, but reminders of the tragedy remain everywhere. One of the most famous is the atomic bomb dome, a ruined building left standing near the explosion site as a memorial. Every year on August 6th, people gather in silence to remember the victims. The story of Hiroshima is not just about war. It is about science, politics, suffering, and the consequences of human decisions. In one single moment, the world saw the destructive power humanity was capable of creating. And ever since that day, the question has remained: could something like Hiroshima ever happen again?